And welcome to the part-time nerd podcast. I'm having trouble with words. We're starting things out a little bit different today. We just raw dogged it in here today. Keep getting popped for the music, so we're like, you know what? Screw it. We're not doing it. But here I am, your old pal Alan, joined by Mr. Spoiler. This movie sucks. How are you doing today, buddy?
Doing pretty good. How are you?
Yeah. You know what? I can't complain. Um, we watched. We've been wanting to keep doing, 2 shows a week for the part-time nerd stuff, and you're like, all right, what are we gonna watch? So we started rolling through a lot of the Star Wars vintage stuff, is what we're rolling through. And today we're going through the 1984 smash hit made-for-TV movie Caravan of Courage, an Ewok Story.
Jesus. I was going to hit you up and ask you if it was serious. I knew it was a made for TV, but it almost seemed like it should have been like a show, like maybe a six-part series or whatever, because it's terrible.
It wasn't good. Um, it goes to show you how far they've come with the made for TV stuff, right? All this other stuff we've been reviewing, all the Marvel stuff and that, it's all movie quality. This was not movie quality at all. Not even close.
The acting was terrible. That kid was driving me crazy. Like he was always yelling about stuff. I was just like, will you just pipe down? Just calm down, kid. Don't make it. But every scene lasted 5 to 10 minutes too long. They didn't need any of that. There was so much just nonsense and overacting and oh my gosh. I was like dying. It's almost 2 hours long, was it not?
Yeah, it was pretty long. I didn't write the time down, but yeah, it was a good length. It was almost 2 hours long.
Terrible.
This movie it takes place on the moon of Endor. The timeline of when this happened was between episodes 5 and 6. George Lucas came out and said that originally the guy who originally wrote and directed these wanted to be like decades after the events of Return of the Jedi, but George Lucas came and said, no, this is when this happened. So what George wants, George gets, right?
Yeah, it sucked. You probably should listen to the guy who was actually directing it, or whoever wanted to do this, because it was god awful. I really can't. What?
Go ahead.
I really can't think of one moment that I was like enjoying myself or just watching this and thinking, "Oh man, this is cool." Or I didn't even get nostalgic because it was so bad. It was terrible.
It got me right at the beginning with the narrator. Do you recognize who the narrator was?
I recognized the voice, but I couldn't, without looking it up, tell you who it was. But I liked the voice. The narrator was actually, that was the one part that I did like.
He played Sam the Snowman in Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
There you go. Yeah, there you go.
That right there. I heard it and I was like, God, is that the? So I looked it up just to verify, and I was like, I'll be damned if that isn't him. Yeah. So it got me with that, and then it was just kind of all downhill from there. This movie revolves around two kids. Them and their parents. Their ship crashes on Endor, and the parents get taken by the Gorax, and the kids are just kind of left there. The Ewoks Wicket from Return of the Jedi. He's one of the main characters in this. They come and they find the kids. They take the kids, and it's about them trying to find their parents. You've got Sindel and Mace. Sindel was a little girl. Mace was the older brother, and he was just a beating. He was. What were some of the things I have written down here? He's a jerk, 100% a jerk. But then he would be like super rude and mean to you. And then they would prove him wrong, and then he'd be like over the top nice after that. Like you had the one Ewok where he's like, I don't need you, I need warriors, we need to do this, and he shows him you can't even do this, and he throws like an axe and it hits the tree. He's like, you can't even do that, and the Ewok's like, oh yeah, and he grabs it and like hits it right in the middle. He's like, I've never seen anybody throw like that. I need you need to come with us, please. I'm like, you were just a jerk to him a second ago. I'd walk off and say deuces. I'm out of here.
Yeah, throw one of those nubs up in the middle, little piece of crap kid. Yeah, I know. He was the worst part of the movie, and it was terrible. So he was the worst part.
Most of the trouble they got into was because of him. Like the Ewoks are trying to help them out and things like this. Like, we got to leave in the middle of the night while they're sleeping. I'm going to steal my blaster and we're going to leave. And then they get caught. These monster comes and chases them. They're hiding in the tree, and Ewoks come and save him again, and then not but 2 seconds later, he sticks his hand in the tree where there's this monster there. Now, how that thing didn't bite his hand off, I don't know. But
It had a hold of him and was huge, and like it barely even scuffed him up. I
and
don't know.
who comes to save the day? The Ewoks again.
Yeah,
And the other thing this kid gave me was he was definitely putting off some Luke Skywalker vibes to me. In
absolutely.
the way that he dressed, in the way that he looked, the way they styled his hair, the way he was just so whiny, like just so whiny. But yeah, it was. I wrote down that he was a low rent Luke.
A super low rent. This movie pissed me off so bad that I'm thinking about writing Disney Plus and asking for like 1 month membership for free. Reimbursement, and not just for Disney Plus. I got the Hulu and the ESPN bundle. I want it all for a month.
Give it to me all for free for a month for going through and watching this.
Terrible. You shouldn't even have that on there.
And then you've got the Ewoks who pick up talking like that in this, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they couldn't do any of that in Return of the Jedi. Like, this little girl talks to them for like 2 seconds and they start repeating words and saying words, and you're like, what the is this?
And then Ewoks are speaking English all of a sudden.
This guy's like he's got an Oxford degree over here now, spitting English and everything. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. The one thing that I did write down is I wrote down that they were very brave for re-releasing this. Like, to actually put this out there and say, hey, look, we did this. Enjoy.
Get
and
the originals, lock it up, and just throw it in the middle of the ocean or whatever. Do something. This should not be readily accessible for anybody. No one needs to watch it.
It's right there for everybody to view. I mean, I watched it. It's not one of those where I'm like, hey, you got to watch it. It's not like so bad that I'm like, dude, you got to watch this. This is just awful, right? No, it's not even that bad. Like, it's just, it's Star Wars. If you don't have anything else Star Wars to watch, all right, watch it.
What year did this come out, Alan?
This came out in 1984.
Okay,
so
84. A lot of movies are 84. Like
1 year after Return of the Jedi. Return of the Jedi came out in 83. This one came out in 84.
I can see as to why they have this and why it was put out, because Star Wars mania was. I mean, you're almost at its peak. I mean, it's fueled. This is right after, what do you say, Return of the Jedi?
Yeah. Yep.
It's right around then.
You just finished the trilogy. People are clamoring for Star Wars. You had the Ewoks cartoon that came out. You've got the Droids cartoon that came out. They did the holiday special, which you can find on YouTube if you want that. But it was just bad. Like, I don't even, this isn't one of those that you picture like this was good back then. I don't even think this would have been good back then.
I need to talk to someone who watched this as it went down, and for them to give me their thoughts on it. What did they think at the time? We're like, oh my God, look, it's the Ewoks. You know what I mean? That's probably what it was, and that's probably what sold it.
That's it.
It's so terrible. It was so terrible.
The kids love the Ewoks, so you throw the Ewoks out there. You need to ask your mom if she's seen this.
That's the first person I was going to ask, because didn't she say that she loves Star Wars?
She loves Star Wars. She said she went and saw them all in the theaters when they came out. This will be right there in her wheelhouse, right there. So you're going to have to ask her if she watched it. Not only had she watched it, but did she force you to watch it as a young one? Because you're not going to remember, because you were, 4 when this came out, right? You were 3-4 years old when this came out. So you wouldn't have remembered watching this. It's definitely forgettable. I'll tell you that.
I'll never forget this movie now that I've watched it. It is that bad where it's burned its image, and that kid's face and his whiny ass voice. Oh my God, I'm never gonna forget it. Yeah, I'm not happy about this one. I'm very timid to watch the next one if you make me watch another one of these damn ones.
We're gonna watch the next one. The next one came out, I think it was a year later. This one came out in 1985. This one's only an hour and a half, so it's not quite as long as the first one. But this one's Ewoks: The Battle for Endor. So
that kid's in it, the younger one. I don't know if the older one's in it, but the kid, the girl's in it.
Yeah, I'll have to. I don't know anything about this. It says the adventure of the Ewoks continue as Wicket and friends confront the evil marauders.
You know who plays Wicket, right?
Warwick Davis.
Yeah, that's the name when it was coming up and they were showing the credits or whatever at the beginning. I was like, hey, man, he was in everything back then.
Still is.
Yeah, I would say he's every freaking movie, multiple characters too. I mean, he's amazing.
Yeah, but again, Caravan of Courage. Watch at your own risk. It does not get our stamp or seal of approval. It's not even so bad that I think you got to watch it. It's just if you get bored and you got nothing else to do, all right.
I would say if you are the responsible adult in the household that has control over the Disney Plus, go in and block this movie from being viewed from the rest of your family. Do the untold hero story. No one will ever speak of it, but you'll know.
But
And
you'll
you
know.
know that you did something right.
And at the end of your life, when you're sitting there at the pearly gates, Jesus will know. And it could be the deciding factor for you, you know?
All this list of bad stuff you've done in your life
wiped away.
We got this one thing. Here we go.
Just one deed that you did.
Oh God.
All right, that's all we got for today, guys. We'll be back tomorrow with our review of a Bad Batch episode. Were we on 14? 14
Wow,
episodes?
that far? Wow.
Something like that. We only got a few episodes left. So we'll be back with that. And until next time, guys, I'll talk to you later. Deuces.